Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Five Star Zone. I'm your host, Rico Beard, and I'm going to give you a reaction to what happened this past weekend with the local teams. I'm going to start with the University of Michigan. Michigan goes down to Champaign, and they play Illinois, a ranked Illinois team. Michigan was ranked. Michigan was actually favored in this game, but Illinois walked away with the victory 21-7, and the score could have been a lot worse. I mean, Illinois had the ball deep in the Michigan territory many, many times. They walked away with a lot less. Michigan defense stiffened up, and Illinois made some mistakes. But first of all, kudos to Illinois. Look, those helmets grew on me. The red grains, I was like, I don't know if that thing's going to work. But eventually that helmet grew on me as a one-off. I don't ever want to see them again. But for that one game, it worked for Illinois. Now, back to the game. Illinois dominated the game, but it's funny because when you look at the stats, Luke Altmaier's stats were very pedestrian. I mean, I don't think he had over 100 yards passing. I think he had 48 yards rushing, but it was just a domination. And when you look at the stats, here's where stats lie. I mean, Jack Tuttle was 20 for 32 for 209 yards or 208 yards. He had a pick in the game. Khalil Mullings had 19 carries for 87 yards and a touchdown. Colston Loveland had 83 yards receiving. And if I said all of that before the game started, you probably think, oh, Michigan wins the game. Wrong. Michigan did not win the game. And I think despite what you saw with Jack Tuttle and the 20 for 32, Michigan's got big-time problems when it comes to quarterback. And I don't know who the quarterback is going to be for this week against Michigan State. Sharon Moore doesn't know who the quarterback is going to be. And it's, I'm going to get into that later when I preview the Michigan State game. But for right now, Tuttle went out there and he missed a lot of open receivers. Especially early in the game, first play of the game, he had a receiver open and he overthrew him. You can just tell that this Michigan's passing game is just not in sync, and I don't know what's going to get it. The worst part about this was Michigan was coming off of the bye week. So this means that Michigan should have been ultra prepared for everything that Illinois was going to throw at them, but instead they were not. As a matter of fact, they even got caught off guard when Illinois ran the fake punt. And it was a perfectly timed punt because I don't think anyone, including myself, was even expecting Illinois to fake that punt, but it worked out perfectly. And really at that point is when I knew this wasn't going to be Michigan's day. Michigan was not going to get this thing done. And once Michigan falls behind by double digits, this is not a team that's built to come back because, as I stated earlier in this pod, the passing game is inept. They cannot pass the ball. They cannot put the game on their quarterback and say, win this thing for us. Michigan is built to go downhill. Michigan is built that when all of a sudden Khalil Mullings and Donovan Edwards is running downhill, that's when you win games. It does not help when Donovan Edwards fumbles the ball. That hurts you. Set Illinois up. If you're Michigan, man, you got a lot of questions to ask yourself. And one particular one was kind of, guys, what did you do in your bye week? Because as I stated before, this team just did not look prepared. As a matter of fact, you didn't cross into Illinois territory until late in the first half when you finally scored your touchdown and you just kind of went back to your roots and you ran the ball. Mullins scored the touchdown, but it was like a minute I think it was like, a minute and 43 seconds left to go in the first half. You made the score. I think at that point the score, I forgot what it was, but I think it was 13-7. And you're in the game. Even though you shouldn't have been in the game, you were in the game. But after that, it was just, I don't know. I don't know where you blame this. I don't know if it's Sharon Moore. I don't know if it's offensive coordinator. I don't know if it's the lack of quarterbacks. But if you're Michigan, this was a game that this kind of could have put you back on pace to, I don't think you're ever going to make the playoffs, but I think this is a game that would have got you back and you would have been 5-2. Looking at Oregon, looking at Ohio State, and you probably would have felt good about yourself. Now, also in the game, Will Johnson did not play. Don't know how serious that injury is, but you missed him. And it gets to the point now where if you're Michigan, sitting there at 4-3, it hurts you because now you start looking at some of your other games, and we're going to preview those as they come up. But you're looking at Oregon, you're looking at Ohio State, you're looking at an Indiana team that just keeps winning and they're undefeated. And now it makes the game against the Michigan State Spartans important to you because other than Michigan State, you have really one game that I think you're going to be favored in, and that's Northwestern. If you lose this game, Wolverine fans, you're looking at not going to a bowl game unless you upset one of the big boys. So that's how important this Illinois game was to get that extra victory that you needed. We're going to see what happens. And like I said, we're going to break the Michigan State game down, but very poor outing for the Wolverines coming off of a bye week. There's still questions, and you shouldn't have questions about your quarterback 7 weeks into the season. That I can't help you with. I don't know who's going to be the guy. I don't know who's going to be the person that runs this team and when it comes to the Spartan gang. But for right now, it's Jack Tuttle. I don't think it's going to continue to be Jack Tuttle, but it may again. It may be. Sharon Moore came out today, and you know, he came out on Monday and said, hey, I don't know. The quarterback competition is open. We're going to see. I don't know how you still do this coming off a bye week, but like I said, Michigan goes into Illinois, into Champaign, lose 21-7. And if you look at the stats, like I said, it doesn't look that way. It looks like Michigan should have won the game, but they didn't. Illinois squandered a lot of opportunities. We'll have to wait to see. But right now, Michigan's sitting at 4-3, nowhere near where they thought they would be for this year, with a game coming up with their rivals, Michigan State, this upcoming Saturday. I have a preview of that game later on in the week. But for now, keep liking, subscribing. You're watching the 5 Star Zone.